Hello lovely friends, thank you so much for being here today for this tree swipe tutorial. This is a simple coaster that I'm doing today and I'm focusing on the technique of the swipe, and it's a really simple thing to do, and you can just do it on any coaster or tile or small canvas or piece of wood. There's so many different things that you can do this on. So come and join me today as I take you through the process. So you just saw there using my sieve. I've got a link in the description below just showing you how I filter my paints. This particular pillow is from a pour that I've just done, which is iridescent silver, a little bit of sky blue and a bit of titanium white. It's quite a nice dove grey, and I thought I'd use that for my base today. So I've got a lot of colours. I'm not necessarily going to use all of them, but I just wanted to collect them all today, and I've filtered them all, and that's what I do after every pour. I get my sieve and filter them, and then I wipe it off straight away so you don't get any paint left in the sieve, and I hang it up to dry. So when I've done that, I then need to go around and check all my paints, because in the filtering and the moving of the paints around, they might not all be the same consistency, so it's always good to check. I think a lot of the time in fluid art, people see these videos coming out and they see you just painting and having fun, and it's an amazing process. But I think it's so easy to forget how much prep goes into it. There's so much, and I often can't wait to get started. So here's another bit of the prep for the tree swipe. So I get a paper towel, one piece, and I cut it up into pieces that are in proportion to the size of, in this case, the coaster, or if it was a bigger canvas, I'd probably use the whole breadth and part of bigger pieces of the paper towel. So this is the size that I like. I like it to be roughly the same width as the coaster. So as I'm dragging it along, part of it's in my hand and part of it is the weight of the paint on the coaster. So do you see how much paint I put on there? Not much at all. Another thing about fluid art is a lot of people think it's really wasteful, but if you save the drips and you use them in different pours and you save your paint, it can go on for a long time. And I often use, I know this is not the most eco-friendly way of doing it, but I use tin foil to immediately cover the cups, and they stay for days. Now depending on the climate, that's got a lot to do with it. They can dry out more quickly. So it's summer here in the UK, and the paints dry within hours if you don't cover them. Okay, so we've got the gold and the silver on top of this background, because even though there's silver in the background, there's a little bit more titanium white than there is silver, and that can lose some of its iridescence. So you've got the TLP show pony there, one of my favourite pinks, and you probably see this colour a lot if you watch my videos, iridescent green blue. It's just stunning, really beautiful paint. And this sky blue from Amsterdam, that's another favourite paint. It just brings out the colours so nicely. As I'm going along, I did one recently and I used much darker colours, so I'm interested to see how the iridescence comes through in the background and through the actual trunk of the tree. That metallic brown, it's a really lovely paint. I've used it in all sorts of things. I've made it darker for a darker brown, but generally it's a bit of an iridescent copper. And a little bit of that green at the bottom there, just to bring up, I'm separating the sky from the ground, so you can see I'm using more pink and a little bit of sky blue because I want that to be in the background of the swipe. I'm using more green for the bottom because I want that to go down, and I always put a white right at the end just before I swipe because I want that beautiful light to go through the trees, and then I'll touch the tree up a bit later. So I've got my titanium white and I'm sort of highlighting it a little bit. I'm putting a little bit more darker green right at the bottom. I want the roots to be a bit darker, and then that also will be reflected in how the swipe goes into the ground and the bottom parts of the tree. I'm looking for a bit of a silver birch vibe today. Love silver birch. So I get my paper towel right in the centre there, land it, and really slowly allow the weight of the paint to just glide it across. And then I wipe it off. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a sheet underneath, and I layer that, and I move the sheet around, and I use it to wipe my hands on. I use it to wipe my tools off, and I use it right now just to wipe off a paper towel. Still using the same one. I'm landing it in the centre, and I'm gliding it across. Can you see those cells coming up already? There's no cell activator in this, just my usual Liquitex gloss pouring medium and Oatrol or Floetrol. You can use Floetrol as well. Oatrol's just slightly thicker. Slightly different properties in every product, but they roughly do the same job. It's the Liquitex pouring medium, I find, that generally just naturally creates a few cells. Because it's a coaster, I'm not worrying too much about gliding it down the side because it's dripping off nicely. And can you see I've swapped in, and I'm using a very slightly thinner piece of paper towel, and that's completely intuitive. You can use whatever size you want. I wanted to have thinner pieces on the top so I could create slightly thinner branches, and I'll do something different again on the other side. There's a lot involved, isn't there? It's only a simple coaster, but it's every single tree swipe is an individual painting, and I just love tree swipes. So we're starting at the bottom again now, and this time I'm actually grabbing hold of a tiny bit of that dark and putting it across. Usually on a bigger one I would put a bit more dark all the way through the centre, but because it's small I don't want too much dark in this one. I want the silver birch to come through, so really gently swiping across. And can you see I'm using a thinner piece at the bottom this time, and that's purely personal choice. Can you see the green coming through more strongly? Really looking at those cells, it's just beautiful. I can see the pink sky beginning to come through, and the copper in the sky, which is that metallic brown. Oh, that's a beautiful colour. So just enjoy the process for a while, and I'll leave you with some lovely relaxing music. Come back when I begin to use my palette knife. So really gently using the tip of the palette knife, I'm picking up the pillow paint and highlighting the trunk of the tree. Can you see where I'm going through? And picked up some dark, and you can't see the branch too much on that one, but you can see where I'm highlighting it in the white, and I'm doing it again. When I say white, it's a bit white, but it's mostly the pillow paint that I'm picking up. And then I'm using that there to go through a bit to the sky. So can you see, as you create the branches, you're intuitively just putting your palette knife in gently, picking up a little bit of the pillow paint or whatever's underneath, and you're creating the branches. And you want to tail it off towards the end so that there's a softer end, because the branches of the tree and the twigs become softer as they become smaller. So going in, just wiping my palette knife off each time, gently going into the paint, and I'm picking up each time the pillow paint and going through. Now I'm beginning to add a little bit more of the darker green, because I want to highlight and add shadows as I go along. So enjoy the process, and I'll come back in a few minutes to show you how it's developed. So we've finished the tree swipe now, and I'm literally just using any of the excess paint that's fallen to make sure that all the bits around the side are nicely dabbed. One of the nice things about a coaster is you can move it around really easily and manipulate the paint more easily, and you can see it so much more easily. They're lovely little things to do. So I'm getting a whole set of these now because I love them so much, and I'm going to back them in cork. So I'll show you that in another video later on. Thank you so much for being here today. This has been a really fun process. Here's the end result. I love this little tree swipe, and if you do enjoy this video, please do subscribe. It's completely free. Let me know what you're creating. I love to catch up on your work. Have a great day. I hope to see you again soon. Take good care, and don't forget, your art is a piece of you. See you soon, I hope. Bye.